Hi everyone, Mark Sheeran here. So people have been asking why we've switched to Skinner sights over the traditional brands that we've used in the past. Let me go through the differences because that seems to be the quick question that everybody wants answered. First, the sight is all steel construction. There's no aluminum involved. Second reason is he has a lifetime guarantee, replacement guarantee. Nobody else has that. The third reason is you can actually get the sight. It's, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for production runs or any of that. He's very responsive. Andy Larson, the owner of Skinner Sights, is very, very responsive. And the last reason is they're elegant. They're beautiful sights. They're well crafted. They're made in the USA, and they're just impressive. The last thing is on the BWB tracker series that we just co-developed with Andy. He custom built the aperture, the ghost ring, to our specs. So they work really, really well here in the Northeast, in the boreal forests of the Northeast. So I hope you'll take a look at them at skinnersights.com, and we hope you take a look at them, the new tracker series. Take care. Good luck on the trail.
This is the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine master guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. I'm your host, Hal Blood, and we're down here at Lake Parlin Lodge again. Finally got some fall weather. Sitting here with Joe.
Hello.
Bad Lee.
Howdy.
And Good Lee. What a surprise.
Hello.
We got Bad and Good Lee today.
We're just going to let them roll on the show.
And we want to apologize for missing a week. We... Between the moose hunts and scrambling around, we couldn't get together to pull it off for last week, so we're a week late. It's the only time we've done it. But so, anyways, we'll talk deer hunting. I'll try to keep these guys directed off from the moose hunting and all of that stuff, and because moose season's going to be upon us. Be Residence Day Saturday.
Moose? You mean deer?
Who's the one thinking?
Who's the one talking about moose hunting? Speaking of moose hunting.
Oh, yeah. Still on my mind, I guess. But so, Youth Day is Saturday. No, Youth Days went by, but Residence Day Saturday, and then everyone else starts on Monday.
Correct.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a little snow in the forecast.
It's trending a little better, temperature-wise, for sure.
Snowed in Rangeley yesterday.
I see that on Saddleback.
Yeah,
halfway up.
Yeah.
The high for the day was like 37.
It was cold and Zip's ass is what it was.
Yeah.
Put my long johns on.
Yes, I put mine on, too.
Got them on now.
A couple days ago, yeah, for this week. Staying nice, really. Nice, damp. We finally got some rain to get some life back into the woods. I'll tell you something funny about that. It ain't deer-related, though. Between the first moose season, I drove about 1,200 miles back and forth up to Zone 1. And I don't think in them, that was 4 trips, round trips. Well, actually, it would have been 3.5 trips. But I don't think I saw a half a dozen birds that whole time. It was that hot week, and stuff. And then I come back, it rained, and then we struck camp there Sunday and come down, probably saw 12 or 15 birds in one trip. It was like, everything come to life after the rain,
Yeah, I would say I saw probably the average amount of birds for the weeks, driving around, moose hunting and everything. I saw a fair amount.
Less than average. And I never saw was interesting, between the 2 moose seasons driving up, I never saw a moose from the road until the return trip after it rained. I saw 1 cow. Yeah,
Yep.
Nuts.
Yeah, it is funny like that. Years ago, you'd like all the trips back and forth that we do, putting up camp and, trips back with moose and then back up to camp and all that. I mean, there's a lot of travel. And
You're driving in the middle of the road to make sure you don't hit them.
right.
Right.
And I think I had a cow hunt Monday, and on the way back, one crossed in front of me on the Golden Road. That was the first one all season that I saw traveling.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make was I saw quite a few deer in them travels. No moose and hardly any birds, but I did see, even up north, I saw some deer that usually you don't see too many in some of them places. But
You seen deer sign, Lee?
Yeah, I've seen some good deer sign. Looking for new hunting areas, so I've been beating the brush quite a bit. So trying to get out of the combat zone over there in Rangeley.
trying to get away from Portage Brook.
Jesus, yeah. They got a, Portage Brook is still my favorite place to send people. Now they got salt blocks over there in the woods, so
Yeah,
be a great spot to go.
You got them marked on your OnX. You can give out them pins to people.
No, I don't even. I drove through there. Oh, shit. I was there Thursday of the moose hunt. I had some friends I was helping out. And I drove through there, and I told them, we hit the Canada Road, and I says, I don't care what you see out of the truck from here to the other side of Portage Brook Road, but it's off limits. We will not be caught with a moose inside of this road system right here. Nothing.
Yeah.
Stay out of it. I don't even want to be associated with that.
Oh, that's
whole
where
area.
that's where all the salt blocks were.
Yeah, that's yep. So, no, it's Rangeley's. Hal always said it was combat hunting, and got a taste of that last week. So we'll move on. It's nice to sleep in your own bed at night, but oh well.
We always got a place for you over here.
Yeah, I know. Hal's trying to get me to come over second week. I might.
Yeah.
I thought you were already signed up.
No, I might volunteer.
How do you get out of it?
Because I'm bad Lee. Do you know
Well,
who I am?
what happened was his hunter
Oh,
from Australia, their Vince couldn't come again. They still got him locked down in Australia. They can't come or go or do nothing there. So he's had to put it off another year. So anyway, that's what happened.
I'll be
there.
over. Got a little more free time these days.
What about Canada? Are they letting them cross Canada now, or did they shut it down again?
You can go if you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Guess
go.
I won't be going to Canada anytime soon.
I can go. I got my shot.
Did you?
My in-laws are, they're in their 70s, and we spend a lot of time with the family and dinners and different things. And not that I can't still carry it, but I was getting sick of listening to wife.
Yeah, but
hop
if you
on me,
if you had it, your body,
Yeah, so
you're
she-
better off than having the shot.
Yeah, so she got the Johnson & Johnson like 3 months after we had COVID, and she got sicker on the shot than she did with COVID. But the VA told me to wait till October and November, and I should be fine. And I had my first shot, and the only symptoms is I got arthritis in my right hand, and it kind of settled right in them joints a little bit, but it's gone now, so no biggie. No biggie.
Yeah. Well, so we finally got some weather to get scouting around on.
Oh, the other reason I got COVID. The other reason I got my shot, it killed my brother.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
killed
really
him.
not. It's really
Dead.
not funny, Lee.
I know, but you had to know my brother because he's like, oh, if it fucking kills me, it kills me. That's the way I'm gonna go. God wants me, he can have me. It took him.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yep.
he had some.
There's the Rumpstead VA calling me right now.
He had some.
You want to take it on the air?
No, I'm good. Probably telling me I got chlamydia or something.
Say your syphilis test just showed up.
Gotta stop messing with them hookers. I shouldn't talk like this with good Lee here. Plug your ears.
I was thinking you shouldn't talk like that since you're married now. But if you want it to be good Lee that keeps you straight, then
You don't think my wife listens to this, do you?
she hears enough of you. I'm sure she
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah. But anyways, it took my brother. So I
Yeah,
got some
but he
pressure
had
for that.
the MS and stuff.
He had muscular dystrophy pretty bad, and he was just at the point where I think he was just sick of fighting everything, and
Yeah.
he was anti-government and hated Biden as much as the rest of his family does. So he thought the world was going to shit, and I just don't think he really wanted to fight it.
Yeah.
So he got it. He had it for 10 days, and he wouldn't go to the hospital. They finally dragged him in 3 hours before he died. Yeah.
Well, that's too bad, but that's what he probably wanted, you know.
Yeah, no, he went out like a man.
Yeah, no sense of suffering was something that
Yeah.
if you don't need to, you know. And that's why everybody has a choice to do what they want, you know.
Yeah. No, he made no bones about it. He went out like a man.
Yep. So
Scouting.
I think it's going to be a good season this year. I mean, because we had them easy winter again last winter, and I've been seeing quite a bit of sign, you know, even just along the road and stuff. I don't go in the woods much until the last week. Next week is my week. I'll get in and get going here because the leaves really it was kind of funny. It was so stale for almost 2 weeks.
They
We didn't have
hung
any
right
wind.
on, yeah.
The leaves. It was funny. You'd sit there in the morning or the evening, and you'd hear little things, you know, and all it was a leaf or two going
Yep.
falling down, but there was not a breath of wind for almost 2 weeks.
I've never seen a calm stretch like that before.
I haven't either.
Unbelievable.
Not
For
up
moose
here.
hunting,
And no rain, so there was nothing to move those, and no frost. It was just nuts. And the leaves, if you touched them, they'd fall because they were just, you know,
Ready.
Yeah, ready to go. And then when we had that rain on Saturday night and Sunday, a lot of leaves come down, and then all of a sudden you look and it's all bare. You know, you got the leaves on the lower limbs and stuff, and a few of those popples that hang on late. But the leaves all come down in a day or two.
Yeah.
So,
And there still wasn't much. I mean, it sounded like it was raining in the woods, and there was hardly a breath of air.
yeah. And, we haven't had much wind even since then, really. It's been a little more rainy and showery and stuff. And
an hour south of here, it's unbelievable the difference in the leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, the trees are still full of leaves.
Yeah.
Pretty much at home.
Yeah.
We're way ahead up here.
Yeah, I noticed a difference. I'm just an hour south of here, and around my house there's still plenty of leaves and plenty of color, and you come up here just an hour north, and it's completely different. But we had, was it breezy here on Monday? Because on Monday we had a good breeze at the house because I put 2 of my tents away wet on Saturday, and I had to set them back up on Monday. But we had a good breeze on Monday down in Skowhegan area.
I don't remember that we had a breeze Monday. Maybe a little bit, but not.
No, it was good.
Not
I got
for the
tents
day.
all dried out. One of the things you mentioned about the good, I think even further north, like we had trail cameras out zones 1, 2, 4, and 5, and usually you don't get a lot of deer pictures on your moose cameras, but we had every zone we had deer pictures this year, which was unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I saw a good sign everywhere we went.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So is
Just
anyone
needs
going
to
up
know.
north to deer hunt?
I don't know.
I'm probably going
That's
to
a long way to drive.
Yeah.
No, I just like it because nobody's up there.
Yeah.
You know, the chance of getting cut off on the track is slim.
Well, nobody goes in the woods. Well, the only chance of getting cut off up there, too, is the road hunters because they ride all day long, you know. Like
They
anywhere
do
else.
down here.
Well, I know. That's right. But
Yeah.
they'll ride all day up there, and you get something started, and it crosses the road in the middle of the day. And,
Yeah,
You know,
but you
like-
know they ain't going to take it. They're going to have to catch it 100 yards either side of the road or standing right in the road.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So, anyways, I think I'm looking forward to a good season. Just hope we get the snow. It makes it fun. But
Russ Murley says December. Have all your firewood in by the 1st of December because we're going to get hammered.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
is that what channel is that on? The,
He's on the. He's all over the world. I'm actually doing a little project for him right now, and I listen to him in the morning record a bunch of stuff for.
oh yeah.
He was doing Southeast Alaska
Oh no kidding.
yesterday morning, but yeah, he's on like TOS, and I'm sure he's on a bunch of them. But he used to be on Channel 8 TV. But it's kind of fun to work for a weatherman because we think they're all quacks, right? And then
Do we?
well, some of them, remember Panic Manics on Channel 6? They Panic Manics. Yeah. Buy all the milk. It's going to rain. But no, it's been fun. And he did say, because we're always looking, we're going to get any snow. We're going to get any snow. He said December. Looks like we're going to
We're
Another
due.
La Nino year, is it? Or?
Yeah, I seen a little map about that it's supposed to be a colder than normal winter and snowier than normal.
What was it?
I don't believe any of that crap.
I texted.
I don't. You watch that stuff every year, and I don't remember the last time they said we were going to have a light winter. It always seems like it's going to be cold and snowy, and then we have a dud winter like last year.
Yeah, well, they got to get people worked
They
up.
got to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't care what the winter is. I just want it for November. Can all melt off in December.
well, speak
like
for yourself.
Like it did last year. Remember, we had that snow right after muzzleloader, and then it rained. We had bare ground at Christmas here. The first time I'd seen that.
Yeah, I remember
in a
we were
long
dragging
time.
the groomer over rocks. You got all your groomers ready, Lee?
I'm not the trail master anymore.
You don't do anything over there now?
Guess not.
Guess not.
We can still talk snowmobiling, but
Good. You want to come over here and help me?
yeah, actually I would. Brant, I talked to Brant the other day because I'm trying to get him. You know Chris Brant out there. I'm trying to get him to come on a moose hunt. He's an avid archery hunter, and one of my clients this year killed one with a Raven crossbow, 15 yards.
Nice.
And it was just a perfect 47 inches, nice looking bull. Anyway, so I sent him a message with that picture and whatever and said, you got to get out here and try this. And he sent me back a message, said, love to. Heading riding today. I'll let you know how it is. Well, then I go on and look, and they got like 2 feet of snow in Colorado last week.
Yeah,
So-
it'll be here soon enough.
Yep.
I guess there's a big storm coming across the Midwest now, ain't there? They said.
Yeah, I heard that we got a possibility of snow for this coming week, so I don't know if we'll get it up there in zone 4 or not. But I've done that a few times. Track moose in the snow. It's fun.
Yeah,
No moose hunting. No moose talk.
Okay.
He said none.
We haven't talked
Although-
about deer hunting yet.
Although-
Snowmobiling.
We've talked about everything but deer
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah. So you're going to be able to go this year, Lee?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I have a new outlook on life.
Okay. Since you're
No,
married.
this is what we've been working for, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 55. I ain't getting any younger.
No, you ain't. None of us
If I
are.
ain't got it, if I haven't financially got it figured out by now, I'm an idiot. That's how I feel. Right.
It's like I told you.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I
Lee.
know, and my guys are full-grown men, and when they tell you to go find something to do, then my lead guy said to me 2 weeks ago, he said, Lip, I don't need you here. What I need is a big bull moose. Go find me one. So I did. Monday morning, he missed him. You shithead. But he made up for it the next day. Got a nice one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to go. I just looking forward to it. Just
Yeah.
life's too short.
Remember what I told you, Lib? It ain't how much money you make, it's how much money you keep.
Yeah, I remember the time, and I tell this story all the time. This is deer hunting related because we were deer hunting, and I got to get the wording right, but me and Lee are coming out of the woods in Ontario, and it was just you and me, and it was dark. We'd put our headlamps on, and I was always stressed out about everything, and you turned around, and I remember the headlight looking me right in the eyes, and you're like, Lib, what else do you really need other than a pickup truck that runs decent, a roof that don't leak, a rifle that shoots straight, maybe a good shotgun? And I'm like, I wish my brain worked that way. I wish. So here we are. The brain finally clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got yourself a good woman now. That makes a big difference, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you end up, I look at all these guys like Dead River Rough Cut. People, they watch that movie and they get the biggest kick out of it. Well, the reason why everybody likes that movie is those two guys did everything they wanted to do and nothing that they didn't want to do. They lived in the woods and lived a simple life. Now, I'm not all the philosophies kicked with me. I don't want my woman to be sweaty and stink and stuff like that. But as far as, being able to just be out in the woods every day, I think sometimes we take it for granted, like Hal and Joe and I and you too, it sounds like this year, but been basically spending every day in the woods. And that's got to add years to your life. Just got
it's
to,
gotta.
not listening to the news and all the horror stuff that's going on in the country and stressing you out, and not having somebody, telling you what you got to do and stuff. It's just, it's got to add years to your life, all those days in the woods.
Well, being self-employed, because we all are, in a sense, and you worry about making payroll every Thursday night and how much money you got to have in the bank, and is that homeowner happy or is the homeowner not happy? And I think I've just let people know I really don't care. If you're not happy, I'll go somewhere else or go fishing. And that's fine. And I think if you approach life with, I'm going to live it the way I want to live it and not the way you think I should live it, it's changed. You know what I mean? Now people are like, all right, well, everybody. And in today's world, I tell my clients all the time now, if you don't have any patience, I don't want to deal with you. Because you order windows and they tell you 6 weeks and it's 12. Don't call me.
Yeah, really.
Because I don't care. It's not my problem. I'm not. When they get here, we'll put them in. Until then, we don't. But if you call somebody else to do this job, you're going to go back to the front of the line because I ain't giving you the windows. You know what I mean? It's just like, don't. And people have to understand that supply chain, you hear it on the news if you watch it, but there's nothing we can do about it. No. Nothing. So why get all worked up about it?
One thing that I noticed this fall, though, we booked a lot of hunters this fall, and every one of them has said how good it was to get out in the woods and get away from all the crap that's going on in the country and just not have to worry about that stuff for a week. Yeah. I remember when I started the guide business years ago, my motto was adventure in the outdoors, and I think that's what people want. They want to go on an adventure, and they want to get outside, and they want to get away from, in a week or 10 days, they got to go back to their real life, but it's an escape from the reality that's, around us, which doesn't have to be a reality, but for most people it is. But when they can get out and get after some deer out in the woods and or moose or birds or whatever it is, it helps them, it relaxes them. I think it's good therapy for everybody.
I took 2 people, so shout out to Paul House over there in Lee, Maine, the House in the Woods. They do a lot for the vets over there. And Nathan K., my friend, put our name on the list as volunteer guides this year for if anybody needed a hand with a moose hunt. So they called us and asked us if we'd take a young couple. I think he was 27 or 8, and she was about the same age. She actually had the tag, but he was an Air Force veteran. And so we took him to Zone 4, and I don't eat vegetables, and they brought all the food, and they were vegetarians other than what they kill or harvest, you know what I mean? That's really the only meat they eat. And at first you can imagine me being like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to starve this week, And that's fine. We get by. But they were the neatest people, and we called in some moose every single day, but just couldn't. The moose wasn't making that last 50 or 100-yard commitment. And finally, Wednesday morning, we had an opportunity to kill a couple, and it didn't work out. But so these kids were going to come up and live in a tent and ride around and try to find a moose. Had no idea the way that we hunted moose. Didn't know that we walked through the woods and called them. And I think, they came thinking we want to harvest a moose for meat, and what they got was so much more. You know what I mean? They're very nice, conservative, but open-minded, liberal people. They didn't care how the world spin. They were going to live their life their way. And so it was a lot of fun. It's just opened my eyes to, there is still, the next generation isn't completely screwed. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of good people in it.
Well, since we're on the Paul House subject, I think last podcast we discussed the situation because both my kids got drawn, but my son, because of school obligations and extracurricular stuff, couldn't make it for the hunt. So he called and told me 2 weeks before the hunt he wasn't going to be able to make it. So I called Eric, and Eric knows Paul House, so he called Paul. And they usually only do stuff for their own organization because they have enough going on with that. But we asked him if he could identify a disabled vet for us because the state is so good about doing that and making it happen. You could call there, I bet, the day before the hunt, and they do that transfer.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Corey down there is great. And whoever else is working down there, that's who I usually talk to. But anyway, when I came out of the woods after the first week of moose hunting, They had someone identified that we could swap the permit to. It was a gentleman by the name of Todd Musale. Anyway, he came up on the hunt for the second week, and we just had a really good, fortunate morning where we were able to call one in like in the first hour. It was just one of those mornings when everything goes right and you find the right bull at the right time, and shot him. It was a 53-inch bull, beautiful bull. And it really was it was just a great experience, because here's a guy who never even applied for the lottery, the moose lottery, because to him, even if he got it, going up there and going through everything, the effort to get a moose and get it out of the woods and everything was just not even a thought to him, And so, 2 weeks before, he had no idea he was going moose hunting, and then here he is standing over this beautiful bull, and it was quite an experience. It was
nice.
Right. And it was all, Paul's the one that made it happen and set it up and everything. And Todd told me, he said, I've never gotten anything for my veteran status, Purple Heart veteran status. A 10% discount at Lowe's. He got. Yeah. Said this is the first time that he ever, and so he was just super deserving. He shared a lot with us, and what he had gone through, and it's we've got it pretty easy over here for what these guys are doing, and across the other side of the world, and it's nice when it can go around to where you can share an experience like that with someone that's so deserving.
The other thing is they're not showing up writing checks for $5,000 and expecting 50-inch bulls. Those kids wanted something to eat. They wanted a nice eater, and there was a couple opportunities at bigger ones, and the gal's name was M, just a sweetheart, and had never killed anything. I taught her target acquisition, had her scope on 5, and finally got it dialed in where she could pull up on an animal, and I had to practice on 100 trees, I think, trying to get that in her sights at dim light. And finally we walked all the way to the end of this road and had called our way down through, and the wind was swirling. I had one bull come in and look at us, and he got out of there, and we never really got eyes on him. But finally got to the end of the road, and I'm thinking, it's going to suck. I got to walk these kids all the way back, because I had put 7 or 8 miles a day on their legs, and she had a pair of leather boots, you know what I mean? Not rubber, leather. And I'd ask her after we'd walked through a swamp, how's your feet? Good. I'm good. Never complained. Anyways, we're at the end of this road, and I'm thinking, I'll run back and get the truck so I don't have to stave them out of here 2 or 3 miles, whatever it was. And all of a sudden, I see her lifting her gun, and I thought, well, that's kind of neat. She's practicing target acquisition, right? And I'm like, Em, what do you see? And she goes, there's a bull walking right at me. And I said, do you want to kill it? And she goes, I said, can you kill it? And she goes, yep. I'm like, do you want to? Yep. I didn't even look at the bull. Couldn't even see it from where I was standing. No, none of us could. Her husband was standing there. Nate was standing there. I said, whenever you're ready, let him have it. And she pulled the trigger and struck that thing right in the chest. I'm like, I jumped around the corner, and this thing's struggling for air and blood going everywhere. And I'm like, holy shit, good job, And then her husband got a chance to shoot it, and geez, it was a lot of fun. So, but they didn't care. There was still pressure on me, because you still want to, this is what we do, so you still want to perform and do your job. But it was a lot less pressure, I guess, than.
I would say the same exact thing about Todd, is there was no expectation.
Right.
Like he was just thrilled to be there. And the situation, so this bull came up, and all I had done was raked. I had an antler there, and I was just raking, and it just pissed him off. He wasn't far down in there. So he's coming up, and he stopped at about 60 yards, and he was kind of head on, and he was trying to get a shot and get on him, and he's like, no, I can just see his head, So I kind of lifted the antler up. We were kind of down the tall grass. I lifted it up and showed it. Well, that got him posturing, So he starts coming up broadside. So I tell him, I said, stand up and shoot him. So he hits him. He double lungs him with the first shot, and that moose took off full speed, and it's going to come across the winter road that we're standing on. And it hits the winter road wide open. And I said, shoot him again. And Braden was there filming, and he's between Todd and the moose, but he's already laying flat on the ground. And I said, shoot him when he comes across the road. And I looked down at Braden, and Braden goes, shoot him. He's like giving him the okay,
Yeah.
So he hits him. He hit that moose in the neck. So the bull is at a wide open run across that road. And when that bullet hit him, it folded like lights out in an instant. The legs folded right up. Unfortunately, the way it happened, he didn't have the camera on it. It was the coolest kill shot that I've ever seen on a moose. It just piled him.
That's cool.
And so the other thing that I'd like to mention too is, and this was completely unexpected, was we got back and went to the butcher. And butchering for a moose is not cheap. Depending on the size of the moose, it's $550 to
$700.
And he went through all the cuts and everything and told Eugene what he wanted. And at the end of it, Eugene said, "It's on me."
Oh, awesome.
And he donated the butchering.
Good for Eugene. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. So that was unexpected, but that was really, really nice of him. And so, and Todd he's a guy, he deer hunts avid, he wants the meat,
Right.
So now I said, you got some meat now.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Hey, Hal here. Hey, one thing I realized as I was getting older is when I was younger, I never really planned for retirement. And so my client for the last couple of years, Jerry Smith, had been talking to me about it a little bit. And I don't know when I'm going to retire, but I definitely got to get ready for it. But Jerry owns a company called the Northern Way Wealth Management. And he's got a program he calls the Northern Way Retirement GPS. And it's a way you can plan to get your finances in order and live your best life, which means time in the woods to track down some big bucks. Because, the problem is not getting enough time in the woods for most people. And, whether it's family or other hobbies or, just financial obligations, it cuts into your hunting time. So Jerry has partnered with Dave Ramsey in his Smart Vest program where he helps folks in his process. And Jerry has partnered with us at Big Woods Bucks to offer you your very own no-cost or obligation and Northern Way Retirement GPS. Just call or shoot Jerry a text at 715-551-4181 and mention the promo code BWB. Jerry's going to help you get some retirement time and some more income so you can hunt some more. Good luck on the trail.
Investment advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Northern Way Wealth Management, Retirement Wealth Advisors, and Dave Ramsey are not affiliated.
Hi, everyone. Big Woods team member Mark Sheeran here. Many of you know that I have a passion for helping people solve their addictions permanently. As a matter of fact, me and my team have spent the last 31 years helping more than 20,000 people move on from their addictions. So know this. If you or someone you love want to move on from an addiction for good, and you don't want to be stuck in a rehab or 12-step meetings or endless therapies, then you might want to learn about the Freedom Model and the St. Jude Retreat. To learn more, give us a call at 888-424-2626. All calls are confidential. Here's that number again, 888-424-2626, or go to soberforever.net for more information. I really look forward to helping you end your addictions for good. Here's that number one last time, 888-424-2626. Take care.
Well, I knew I couldn't keep you guys off the moose hunt.
You started it.
But it's a good cause taking the vets anyway. So
I had a ball. This is the second year. Last year was actually Nate and his buddy, and I had a lot of fun with them. And I had a lot of fun this year, so we'll see what next year brings.
It's one of the best things the state ever did with the moose permit system is to put that in there. And
so I want to bring that back around to what we was talking about, just being in the woods, you know what I mean, and why people want to do that, because I've noticed over the years, and I've told people ever since I've been guiding up here not to have big expectations anyways, because our deer population's low, and so I've always told them, reality is you're probably not going to shoot a deer here,
Right.
And and that's just being truthful, because that's it, because we know we can look at the state figures there, and success rate's like 15% in Maine. That's counting everything, all the doe tags and everything else. Like, if you take the doe tags out of it, it's probably on bucks. Maybe it's 10%. Yeah. And then when you get up into the big woods in the north, well, even just being in the big woods, I don't know it's less than 5. It might be 2%, you know. And but people still come, you know.
Yeah.
And a long time ago, people told me that, you know, they don't really, I shouldn't say they don't expect to get a deer, but that's not the reason they come. Right. If they get a deer, great, but they come to be in the woods and have the experience. And like you were saying, you know, get away from life in general, you know.
I think when we, like last week, Ned, good guy, he works for me. His wife works for me, or with me, I should say, but he wasn't feeling good, so he stayed home, but he showed up at the shop, and I had my rubber boots on, and he's like, Lev, where you heading? I said, I'm going to go scout a moose, maybe a deer or two. And he says, And I could tell he wanted to go, so I said, you want to jump in the truck? He said, I'd love to. So he gets in the truck, and, you know, them guys that hunt southern Maine got a little different take on it, and everybody's got a theory about when deer move, when they don't, the full moon, how they eat, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff that you and I think it don't make much sense, but it's what they think. So anyways, he said, I've never found a signpost rub in the woods, and I've looked everywhere. So I took him up this winter road. I had never been there before, I swear to God. I walk in, I find this drainage. I walk up the drainage 100 yards, and I said, so what kind of tree you think they're rubbing on up here? I know you've listened to the podcast. He says, isn't it the brown ash? And I says, yeah. So I says, you know what a brown ash tree looks like? Somewhat. And I showed him one. Most of the brown ash had lost their leaves early.
Right.
I says, so there's a brown ash tree right there. And he's like, no shit. And he goes, well, Christ, looks like the skidder hit it. I said, that's the number one myth right there. I said, you tell me, show me where that skidder went anywhere near that tree. I said, that's your first signpost rub. Well, I thought he was going to cry, you know. He's like, holy shit, Liv, that's right there. And so we looked over. We walked up that drainage another mile. We never saw another one. We did find some more brown ash. But in 2.5 hours in the woods, we found one really nice buck track, another smaller buck track, and 2 different moose that were living bulls in that one little area. And, you know, it was different for him because from southern Maine, like I said, they hunt different. So I think a lot of people just want to come and see what we're talking about, because I don't think a lot of people believe what, you know what I mean? Well,
they don't, because I've always told them, even way back, because I realized way back when I first started hunting up north here, that it wasn't the same thing. I could see it. I said, there's something different about these deer, and you're going to have to hunt them different. I mean, it didn't take me very long to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And then I've told people over the years, I try to explain to them, you really got to forget about what you know about deer hunting, because it isn't going to help you if you get stuck thinking about all those things you've read and stuff about deer hunting in the woodlots and the farm country and all of that. It's a handicap to you. If you keep carrying on with it, it's going to be a handicap, because you won't let yourself learn something else, right?
Right.
And the ones that are willing to learn and think differently, they'll get good at it. But the ones that won't, I mean, I've had guys I've guided for years that they just couldn't release from all their thinking, because, you know, maybe they were very successful in Jersey or Pennsylvania or wherever they was from, but they weren't going to be here.
Whenever they ask me, when they say, how do you pattern these bucks up here? And I'm like, you don't.
No.
You follow them, but you don't pattern them. Yeah. They might come through the same areas, but you never know when they're going to come back.
Yeah, they're not on any kind of a schedule, and, you know, the only thing you can do is, and I've said it before, but you got to figure out that 10% of the woods they're using, and that's where you're spending your time. That's it. That's the biggest thing to do right there. Is just be where they're most likely to be.
Spend 90% of your time in 10% of the woods.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And then that's it. And then, but them signposts have a lot to do with that too, because that's that's the cornerstone of their territories, and they're going to come by there. So that's the most important sign you can find, and to help figure out where they're traveling. That's it. People still got it in their mind, they're going to be in the beech nuts this year. I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. They don't.
Ned said to me, and he's just a great guy. Ned says to me, so my friends say the deer don't come down off the top of the mountain until later. And I'm like, that prick's coming down as soon as I get him out of bed. And he's up there.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever thought that a deer just lives on top of a mountain and one day gets up and decides to come down,
Well, it's the same way of thinking, like people that tell you, well, is that a swamp buck or a mountain buck? And I'm like, well, last night he was a mountain buck, and this morning he's a swamp buck.
Yeah, that's right.
Now he's a trophy buck.
Yeah.
Oh,
but that's it. You gotta think differently. You gotta.
Hey, can I bring up something that's going to help all of us when we're guiding there in a little bit?
I need all the help I can get.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with moose hunting, except for the fact that we just all experienced it. But I never can understand people that hire us to guide them, pay us good money to come up here, and then show up with a gun that ain't ready to go. So if you're planning on coming up here to Parlin Lodge, and I'm not chastising anybody or being, trying to lord it over you, but
He wouldn't be, because he's good Lee.
yeah. But do yourself a favor. If you're going to come up and hunt with us this fall, you're listening to the podcast, make sure go out with your gun. Make sure your sights are tight. If you got a peep sight on it, make sure all your screws are locked down tight. If you got a scope on your gun, make sure your screws are all tight. Make sure you sight that in for the yardage that you think most of the time in Maine up here, if you're hunting deer with us, most of the time it's going to be inside of 100 yards. But still, make sure that you can hit what you're shooting at. And don't show up with equipment that is going to let you down. As hard as it is for us to find, whether it be moose or deer or whatever it is, if we put you on a buck and you get a chance, you're going to feel awful if you miss it because you didn't come prepared. So we had that happen to a few of our guides this year where the guys showed up and their guns weren't ready. So make sure before deer season this fall, go out and shoot your gun a little bit, make sure everything's tightened down, and make sure you're comfortable with it, and we'll try to put one in front of you.
Yeah, I did it during the moose season. M's gun was set on 5, and I says, well, why is it set on 5? She says, I don't know. That's the way they handed it to me. So we turned that down, and then, you just think that people know everything, which is our fault, and the site acquisition, how long should it take to get an animal in the scope and ready to squeeze the trigger? And, her husband thought maybe 10 seconds, and I'm like, I'll give you 3, and I'll count it out. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. That's a lifetime right there.
In the deer woods.
In the deer woods. And so then they got that, and that was like Wednesday's school, and Thursday she killed that bull. But I did it. I just assumed everybody was on the same page.
No, my first week client's going to have a good excuse if he misses, because I'm the one that set his gun up for him. He hasn't even seen it yet. So. You hear that, Whitey?
Why would you do that to yourself? Whitey, shoot it. Shoot it a lot.
Yeah, we'll take it out and make sure he likes it.
Yesterday, I finally got my Skinner sight on mine. I put a post on last night, the old in with the new there.
Yep.
And I got to get down and check it.
I saw that, and it was, when you compare the two pictures, looking at the Williams and the Skinner, and I know Williams works great for a lot of people and has for years and years, no question. But when you got them side by side looking at them like that, man, there's no doubt that Skinner's a nicer sight.
Yeah, it's just like I've always, I don't complain about the Williams. The biggest issue is it was just made out of aluminum, and you could knock them off very easily. The set screw just digs into the aluminum a little bit, and if you bang that on a tree or a heavy limb or something, which is common going through crap, it knocks it off.
I'd always put fingernail polish on mine so I could tell if it was moved.
Well, yeah, I did that, but it kept moving it, so I ended up having to take, I took shoe goo, and I jammed shoe goo in both sides of the slides so it couldn't move, And that kind of fixed it. So, because I haven't had any issue with it for probably the last 10 years, but before that, seemed like it was, if it wasn't every year, it was every other year. I'd bump it, and I'd look at my nail polish. Yep, it's moved a little bit. And I'd take the butt of my knife and just tap it back so the circle lined up. But when you have to do that stuff, it's always weighing on your mind as, gee, is that going to move again today? Or you keep looking at it, and it's distracting. So,
I think one of the things we mentioned it on the podcast, but if anybody gets a big woods buck Skinner sight, they need to make sure if they've got a 760 that they get the 760 sight, and if they get a 7600, they get the one for that, because they're not interchangeable. The screws are different size and in different locations, so make sure you check your gun and you get the right sight for the right gun.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory on the website now. They got it.
Yeah.
I mean, originally it wasn't on the Skinner site. They didn't. I mean, you had to dig to find the difference, but ours is set up where I think it's pretty easy to find it. But I'll probably go down to the range, not tomorrow, but Friday, and sight it in. Probably won't need much, because I know the one I put on that gun when we was having our get-together there this summer, it was dead on. I've talked to 2 or 3 other people Timmy got his on there, and I think he said he had to move it 1/2 a turn on the elevation. That's all he touched on that when he put it on.
That one that I put on that old 300 Savage, I barely moved it. I think I just moved it a little bit from one side to the other, and it was right for elevation, and that one's all sighted in. And I got to do that 35 Whalen now, but that 760, the 300 Savage, I think I just moved it just a fraction of an inch one side or the other, and she was right there.
Yep.
What was the change that was made? I didn't even look at it. The Gen 1 and Gen 2. What on the sights? Oh,
the sights. Well, what happened was those the plug screws on the receiver. Where you for your scope mounts and stuff.
Yep.
They're not flat. They're a little bit
round,
concave. Yeah. So the sight was a little. It went like halfway over the forward hole. So in other words, you put how one screw goes in the rear of the rear.
Yep.
And the other one goes in the rear of the front.
Front, right.
And then it's the other screw, you have to take it out because it sticks up. The one that's under, the forward one in the rear, you take it out because it interferes with it. But what was happening on the other one was the length of it put it halfway on the other screw, the forward screw. So it made it tippy. So
if the screw was in,
you would have to take the screw out to get it on tight.
Right.
And then it looked like crap because you got half a screw hole short.
Yep.
So they shortened it up so it's behind that screw hole. And when they did that, they also took and they kind of rounded it a little bit. So the top edge of the sight on the outside edges has got a nice kind of a round, radius on it. And they did the same thing in the front because that's you're kind of carrying it there too,
Right.
Not that you squeeze down on it that much, but it just makes it a little more comfortable to.
Basically, the biggest thing when you look at it, you can see it's like probably a half an inch or an inch shorter.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyways, anxious to.
So if we don't have snow first week,
I'm going archery hunting. It's all about the killing now.
Archery hunt. What do you got, a special season over there in Rangeley?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What if it doesn't snow?
Well, hey, most years it don't. So
we've been
wouldn't
lucky.
Be nothing new.
We've been lucky though. I think ever since we've been doing the big woods bucks hunts here at Parlin Lodge, we've had snow the first week, right?
Yeah, the last 2 seasons. Yep.
Yeah, and last season was the first week was the best week because we had snow all week, and then it melted off like for Saturday, and then we never got any more until
that's right.
We had a little bit the third week up on the high elevations, and then that went off for Thanksgiving week. There was none to be found for Thanksgiving or muzzleloader.
No, we had snow for
muzzleloading. We did.
We had snow before that.
We had snow up high, yeah, and then it melted off up in the high country.
Yeah.
Because I hunted on snow Friday of the third week, a couple inches of nice snow, tracked a good buck, and then went back Monday morning, and it's bare ground. I shot my buck on. I mean, we got a dusting in the night that melted off by 8, 9 o'clock, but all the snow that was there on the ground from Friday was gone on Monday morning, on a Monday of Thanksgiving week. And then there was no snow that week, Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, we hunted on snow that week. That was, because I had, that was the week that the Dales were here, right?
Chippendales?
Oh, unless it came back, because I guess after
because
I shot
we hunted on a lot of snow up north. We had good snow.
That's
towards
right.
the end of the
you
week.
know why? I'm thinking.
Oh, because you got yours.
Because you got yours,
and
you didn't care about anybody else.
No,
so.
but I took the other guy. Remember, I had the guy come in.
Oh,
for
that's
3
right.
days.
That's
right. And we did get some, not a lot, but we had enough to track on. And then that melted off the last day because I remember I hunted high country.
Right.
And on Saturday it was gone.
Bare, yeah.
And then muzzleloader season we didn't have it.
Yeah, we did.
When you got you got to remember though.
Oh,
Joe,
the second week
we got
we
the
killed.
second
That's
week
right.
because
Yeah.
you got
That was the second week.
you
we
got
had
your
it.
buck down
There
there where I
wasn't
got
any
mine.
up.
That was the
there
second
was
week.
none
That's
up
right.
here muzzleloader season because I remember going in. We got it right after muzzleloader season, and I put the trail cameras on the migration trails to see what was going to come.
Yeah.
So we didn't have it for that.
Yeah, it was an odd year then, right?
Yeah.
Thinking back, that was
Yeah,
Well,
the
you
deer
know-
came into town and then they left and went back out again.
Yeah. Well, we say it was an odd year, but it was probably more like a normal year. We were used to them 2 big snow years, so
Right.
So last year was more a little bit normal, other than usually by the end of the season we have snow, especially muzzleloader season. But it was a little crazy, but that's why you got to make hay when the sun shines. There, you got to get out and when it's good tracking snow, you got to not fool around.
Get
You got
on
to
it.
bear down and do what you got to do because you might lose that snow and not get it.
Hey, Hal here. I want to talk a little bit about our partnership with OnX Hunt. I've been using it for a while now, and if anybody knows me, they know I'm not a very techie person, but the OnX app is it's a real time saver. I remember the days when we poured over topo maps everywhere we was going to go and stuff, and I don't do that quite as much anymore. Where it's really helped me is scouting, whether it's deer scouting, a moose, or even turkey hunting in the spring, which I do. It really helps out. I don't have to spend as much time running around the truck burning up the gas. I'm just basically using my OnX. Got it on my phone. Don't even carry a GPS anymore. So I just download the areas where I'm going to be hunting, whether it's up north moose hunting, and I use it mostly on the satellite imagery. I like to see the cuts and the clearings and the turkey hunting, the hidden fields and stuff. But everybody's using it now, from the game wardens to land surveyors, and just a great tool. And with our partnership with OnX, if you use a code BWB, you're going to receive 20% off on your first premium or elite memberships. And you just go to onxmaps.com/hunt. You'll be glad you did. Good luck on the trail.
first week.
Be 8 of us, I think, the first week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be the biggest crowd we had. Yeah, because the first year it was just the 3 of us, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
Me.
Yeah, I think it was 8, and then the second week was 8, but then Lee's guy from Australia can't make it, so it's 7 the second week. And then the third week it goes the other way because the guys don't want a guide after that.
Well,
I can't understand
It
why.
happens. It happens.
so
We won't have nothing to talk about if we don't hunt.
there's 6 beds in the house, so someone's gonna have to double up. And I'm not gonna worry about that because I know it's not me.
Nobody's got to double up because you ain't sleeping there and I ain't sleeping there.
Oh, good point.
Jesus. How'd they make it to Alaska and back?
I don't know. I'll tell you, it was rough. But at least they made it back and didn't think they were going to go in jail. I had to call Joe twice since I've been home.
Really?
I ended up, everybody did all their paperwork in Seattle, and Joe did mine, did it on his smartphone, did my report and everything.
Yeah, you have to report.
Yeah.
Whether you got one or not, you have to report to the state.
It's got to be where it is with the longitude and latitude and all that, what river you hunted on, all the information. Well, I knew it must have went through because Joe did mine once, and he said, I don't think it took, so he did it a second time. But all 6 of us did it in the Seattle airport.
I didn't. Still haven't.
You better get after it. You haven't got anything in the mail from him?
Nope.
I did mine, and I got back, and I had something in the mail. Actually, nope, I take that back. It was email. Said, we see you haven't filled out your hunt report yet. You need to do that by such and such a date, or, bad things can happen. So my wife printed out a hard copy online, and I filled it out. I called Joe because he had the longitude and latitude in his InReach or whatever he had it on.
It was on OnX.
OnX. And so we sent that in like 2 weeks ago. Then I got back from the moose hunt last week, and I got a thing in the mail telling me that I was in deep doo-doo and I would not be invited back to Alaska if I didn't fill out that report, and that it was a bailable offense. And I'm like, I told my wife, I said, that don't sound good.
Bailable or jailable?
Bailable. It said bailable something. In other words, it was...
That means you're going to jail
right.
and get bailed out.
Wait a minute. Good Lee is looking at jail time.
So
that elevates me.
This is the crazy thing though, Lib, was after I went through all that and all the stress that it caused me, because I tried everything, when I sent them back the hard copy, I wrote right at the bottom of it, I'm a master Maine guide. I obey all the game rules. I would not fill this out. I don't know what the problem is. So then when I got back and they sent me another nasty letter, I said, so my wife looked up online and she found a number that I could call because I wanted to talk to a real person.
Right.
Made the phone call, and it was some kind of a made-up holiday that I never heard of on Monday, so I had to wait and call him again yesterday. But the guy that I talked to was he was in charge there, and nice guy. He said, nope. He said, it said right here that you reported it on 9/16, which was when Joe reported it on his phone. He said, you're good to go. And I said, well, can you people stop sending me stuff that make me feel like a criminal? Because I'm feeling pretty bad right now. I think I'm in trouble. I feel like I've been naughty. Right. I feel like Bad Lee.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, well, if you get
Go with it, Lee. Go with it.
He said, if you get any more of that stuff in the mail, he said, just send it to Libby over in Rangeley. We'll harass him.
Well, that's what you get for shooting a moose. See, I didn't shoot one, so I didn't have to worry about nothing.
No, you still have to fill it out. They want it regardless.
I haven't got no nasty letters yet.
That's really
I'm going
weird.
to go home, send him one. We're coming to get you, Hal.
Yeah. Well, because Joe and I talked about, it said something about, maybe going back and shooting a caribou sometime. And I thought, geez, I wouldn't mind going back there and shooting a caribou. And then they send me a letter saying, hey, you don't get your stuff together, you won't be coming back. And that's what made me feel really bad.
Was there plenty of caribou to shoot?
No.
I don't know.
Not where we were. Different area.
You didn't like it as much, did you, Hal?
Well, it wasn't my kind of hunting, really.
Yeah.
You basically, the idea was you sat around and waited for the bulls to show up. Right. Well, you know right off. That ain't my kind of hunting, sit around and wait. I know we covered, before the season opened, we covered, I don't know, we probably put on 20 miles before the season opened, up and down every mountain and ravine looking for sign, and it wasn't any. So that wasn't really, sitting around glassing ain't my cup of tea. I'd be sitting there. I could get an hour in maybe. And I go, maybe
an hour. That's it.
That's it. Oh. Then I go take a walk.
Well, I want to know if there's any truth to the fact that you were getting up late mornings and stuff like that. Was you sleeping in? Or?
I didn't sleep in. No,
you didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I was always out at daylight or getting ready at daylight, close enough.
Do your stretches.
Yeah, had to do my stretches and do all that stuff. But, yeah, I went to enjoy the countryside, been before sheep hunting, and I like it there. And my main mission was to try to help Jason get one, and that was it. I didn't have any expectation of much else, just have a good time. And so that's the way it went.
Well, you won't be invited back now anyway because you didn't send your report in. So.
Guess not.
That's pretty extreme, though, isn't it?
I'm telling you, the last letter they sent me sounded quite threatening, and that's why I was nervous, because when I talked
Lee
with the
couldn't
guy...
sleep at night.
I bet he was afraid they was going to pull his Maine guide license from him.
They're going to come in all dressed in black and bust down his door at his house.
Well, it was kind of like the first time I ever went to Ontario, and I think, well, we're in a foreign country up there, and there's freaking wolves everywhere, and all the locals are saying, shoot them wolves. They're telling us all, shoot them wolves. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to shoot a wolf up here and end up having Kelly have to come up there and bail me out. She wouldn't be too happy.
Weren't you allowed to shoot them?
Yeah, if you paid $300 for a stupid license.
Yeah.
They'd end up the year before we went up. They used to be $30. And I remember I talked with Lanny Benoit, and I said, Lanny, would it be worth getting a wolf tag up there? And he said, well, it used to be only $30, he said, but now they're going to be $300 because all the population in Ottawa and Ontario, Toronto, all them people, they're the ones that make the game laws, I guess. So, yeah, it went up to $300, and I thought, I ain't going to spend $300. A deer tag was what, 100, Hal?
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend 100 on a deer tag and then 300 on a wolf tag that I might not see. Right. Very first day I was in the woods, I saw a giant wolf right in front of me, cross the trail right in front of me, but I didn't have a tag, so he walked.
That's because he's bad. I mean, goodly, right? Badly.
Yeah. Badly would have dropped him and then gone and got a tag.
Badly might have dropped him.
Yeah.
I see the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life was a wolf. He was red. And I heard something coming through those leaves, kind of frozen leaves. And I'm like, geez, there's a deer coming. And then it's walking up, kind of going by me. And I'm like, shit, I can't see it. And I'm like, well, the wind's blowing me right in the ears, back of the ears. I'm like, he's going to have my scent and bust out of here any time. He stopped and then kept walking, and he started to circle me. I'm like, that ain't no friggin' deer. And then I'm like waiting, and finally he poked his head up over a rock, and I couldn't get on him fast enough. And all I remember seeing them front shoulders and that head for just a split second. It was the biggest friggin' dog I had ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I had something to compare it to because one of the guys that went up with us, he bought a wolf tag, and he nicknamed her Snowflake. He shot a female, and she weighed 90 pounds. Well, that big male that I saw was just as black as she was white, and I swear he was twice as big as her. Now, maybe he wasn't 180, but I bet he was at least a 150-pound dog. I mean, that was a big, big dog. It looked like it looked almost the size of a deer when he walked out in front of me. Huh. So, yeah, that was my first experience with a wolf, but we saw plenty more after that.
Yeah.
So we've got what? Well, are you running a Trijicon for deer season too, or are you running a peep?
Nope, they sent me, well, I may try the Trijicon too, but I'm probably going to try the peep because I already used the Trijicon. We should have all kinds of good footage and everything for Trijicon.
I accidentally deleted it all.
You better not have. Chris will fire you. Chris will fire you because I really, sometimes you end up, you try to promote the stuff that they send you. It's like those stoves that Vista Outdoors sent us. I'm going to buy some of them. They sent us some of those to use. Now I'm going to buy some more, but those stoves work nice. I like the way they collapse and go down into a small unit. But the same thing with the Trijicon scope. Now, it's not really my cup of tea. I like everything small and compact and lightweight, and it's a bigger scope than I would normally use. But it rained almost every day we were up there. The weather was, it was foggy, it was cold, it was warm. And that thing was just as clear as a bell. Even if it had raindrops in it, I stopped wiping it out because even if it had raindrops in it, with that 30-millimeter tube, it was big enough and I could see through it. I didn't have any trouble. Every time I looked in that, I thought, I could shoot that. And with that lighted reticule, as it turned out, I shot mine late enough in the morning. I didn't use it, but I tried it morning and evening, and it would make a big difference. If anybody wanted a good bear sight, I'll tell you what, that thing would be perfect for bear over bait because you can see that thing well after you could see black crosshairs. But anyway, getting back to what you said, Joe, because I already used the Trijicon up there, I'm going to try to use the Skinner sight during deer season because Steven, I set up that 300 Savage for Steven. He'll use that, and then I'll use the longer one on my 7600. And by the way, did they find anybody to follow me around Thanksgiving week? Am I going to have a camera guy? Because you told me to leave that week open.
I have no idea.
You don't? Got to talk
Mark
with Christopher and Mark?
Mark and Chris in charge of that.
Because that's how I'll get to use it is if Thanksgiving week, I left that week open. I got a couple of clients, but they're regular clients that don't need me to babysit them. So I'll be fine. I'll be able to hunt that week.
That's the best kind of client.
Yeah, and those guys knew that going into it because they've hunted with me before, and they're like, well, if you can have a camera guy Thanksgiving week, we don't care. We just want to be in camp with you. So whether I get one or not, I'll be able to hunt. Last year was the first year that I'd hunted with my 99, and I can't remember, 10 years probably, and that worked out good. So maybe I'll get to hunt with a rifle again this year.
Yeah, I'll be using that Credo Trijicon scope. I've got that mounted on mine. Sighted in.
Now, is that the same
good.
as the one I brought to Alaska? Was that a 1-6?
Yep, just a different color illumination on the reticle.
Green instead of red?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I like it. It's a nice scope.
So I'll be running that, but I guess this is going to air just before. So, hey, good luck to everyone.
Yep.
Next week we'll be doing. The plan is to do like we've done the last couple of years. We're going to do one a week during the deer week. So.
Yep.
We'll cover all the hunts, and hopefully we have some good stories to talk about.
So when are we going to do them? Like Thursdays?
No, we usually do them on Saturday night.
Oh,
Yeah, I usually do Saturday
Well,
night.
it'd be nice if I could come over on a Thursday and then I
What's
would
the matter
be
with a
here.
Saturday night?
Yeah.
Because I got to go home. But if I'm here Thursday night, I might as well stay Friday, Saturday, hunt, maybe guide.
Such a bitch sometimes.
I am a bitch.
The thing that's kind
You
of nice
know this
about
by now.
the thing that's kind of nice about doing it during deer week is we got all kinds of guests we can have on, and
Yeah.
fun.
The Tito's will be flowing.
Oh, speaking of Tito's,
Oh,
I
Jesus.
went out of my way to seek a bottle of Tito's
Well,
for you and bring it up to the North Maine woods because it's the only request he had.
yeah.
When you come back from town, bring me a bottle of Tito's. So I made sure,
So,
put it on my list.
I know, but you got to.
Then you never showed back up to camp again.
I'm going to pat myself on the back because Paul House asked that when you do one of those hunts, there's no alcohol in camp. And I respected that, and I didn't have any alcohol. So I figured if it was over at your camp, as soon as we tagged out, I'd scoot over there and
Embellish.
get it. But I go into every moose season thinking Monday's the last day. So I do. I'm just like, I've been here for a week scouting.
So for a week,
Yep.
a week there was
Four
was-
and 5 days because the kids showed up. We call them kids. Me and Nate were calling them kids, which was funny. But
Did you have the shakes by the end of the week?
no, it didn't bother me. Actually, I lost 10 pounds, but yeah, I dropped like 10 pounds. But we were walking quite a bit. But
so for a week, and we instead of having good Lee and bad Lee, we had good Lee and just a little bit naughty Lee.
yeah, like I didn't do anything
Barely naughty,
wrong.
Lee.
No, I didn't. There was no I can't think of anything.
Shenanigans?
No shenanigans. I didn't even have bad thoughts.
That's a lie.
It ain't me. It's the Lee inside that's bad.
It's the little devil Lee inside me.
Oh, that red one on the left shoulder is a lot more fun than the white one on the right shoulder. I can tell you. Oh shit!
All right. Well, here's to a good first week.
Yeah.
Good luck to
Good
everybody.
luck, everybody. And those of you showing up next Sunday, see you when you get here. Till then, good luck on the trail.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And, of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com.
Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the hunting club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there. And it's a place where you can get together and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about Bigwood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up and hope you see you on there. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.